Let's recap, friends. Deep dish pizza was invented by some combination of Rick Ricardo, Ike Sewell, and Rudy Malnati Sr. at Pizzeria Uno. Two cabbies, Sam Levine and Fred Bartoli, started up the first competing joint, Gino's East, and stole head cook Alice Mae Redmond for good measure. A bit later on, Lou Malnati, son of the aforementioned Rudy Malnati Sr., departed Uno for his own spot in the suburbs, Lou Malnati's. And those are the joints that put deep dish pizza on the international culinary map. But as Chicagoans, we know there's more to this pie than meets the eye. It's time we check in with some of your favorites that branched off from the big three. First up, we're headed to the South Side.
The newspaper said having a baby at 60, and this was my mom's baby.
Louisa's Pizza and Pasta in South Suburban Crestwood.
Louisa's is one of the classic kind of descendants.
You know, the legacy of Pizzeria Uno just continues to live on. So many people that came through their kitchen, and one of them is a woman named Luisa De Janeiro.
Luisa De Janeiro was a longtime waitress at Pizzeria Uno and Due and had a close personal relationship with both Rudy Sr. and Lou Malnati. Here's her daughter, Linda Fitzgerald.
She loved her job. She loved Rudy and Lou Malnati like forever.
But with Lou branching off on his own, Luisa thought it was finally time.
All her life, all she ever wanted to do was have a restaurant. And she used to ride up and down Cicero Avenue coming home from work, and she saw a little sign out here one day, said, "For sale." She called me, she goes, "Linda, I think this is the place I'm gonna open." And she was 60 years old.
But age was no obstacle for a perfectionist like Luisa.
From my perspective, when she opened this place, it was about having things her way.
Luisa's grandson, Ed Fitzgerald.
You know, a lot of times I'd hear my grandma say there might be the wrong way, the right way, and other guys' way, but here it's my way.
And they remain that way because of a request Luisa made in her final hours.
On her deathbed, she was at my house, and she told me, "Linda, you gotta keep this place going. Just keep everything the way I've done it."
My grandma used to say it was her baby. She loved it, she nurtured it, and she made sure she trained me, my sister and brother, and her daughter to make sure we nurtured it the way it was supposed to be.
Our next branch off the deep dish family tree comes from one of its originators.
Rudy Malnati Jr., he's the son of the great Rudy Malnati Sr.
We checked in with Rudy Jr. earlier in the program, but now it's his turn to leave a mark on the deep dish landscape.
So another Malnati also worked at Pizzeria Uno and both Pizzeria Due, and that would be Rudy Malnati Jr. It's not till decades later that his mom, Donna Marie Malnati, basically hits him upside the back of the head, says, "Hey, what are you doing? You got this great name, you know how to make pizza. Why are you wasting this away when you could be doing great pizza here in Chicago?"
So Rudy Jr. opened the first Paisano's Pizza and Pasta on State Street, just north of the famous water tower.
I always wanted to obviously carry my family's name and my father's name forward.
Again, Rudy Malnati Jr.
On the back of our menu it says the real history of deep dish pizza. Aaron Spencer, who bought the recipe from Ike Sewell, called me into his office and he said, "Rudy, you should be claiming this." I said, "Aaron, do what you gotta do because this is my father's recipe." I've always kept the same ingredients that was done at Pizzeria Uno and Dewey. I always have kept my mother, who is 90 now, always made the dough.
Hold up. Did he just say his 90-year-old mother made the dough?
So when Rudy Malnati opens up Paisano's on State Street in 1991, there's only a couple of people that know the recipe. Obviously himself, who came up with it, and then his restaurant jobber, a guy named Caesar, who he entrusted with the recipe. And then the third person that knows the recipe there is his mother, Donna Marie Malnati.
Deep dish, it has to be handled so carefully. Who else better to handle it than her?
And it's pretty clear that Rudy Jr. and Donna Marie's hard work has paid off.
You don't see a lot of deep dish pizzas out there that are handled correctly. If you do, you'll see that we'll feed between 12 and 1,400 people on a Friday night. So I think it speaks for itself as one of the best deep dishes in the city.
The final link between the big guys and the neighborhood joints is a newbie with yet another family connection to an original pie.
There is a family legacy, and it's interesting how pizza goes through generations. You can see that in the Malnatis, And you can also see that in the Bartoli's.
When Gino's founders sold out, they were out of the pizza business. And then years later, and I mean years, comes along a grandson.
Brian Tondrick, grandson of Fred Bartoli from Gino's East.
I was in the restaurant quite a bit as a child, running around, playing with my cousins. We had so much fun there, and that's one of the things that got me into wanting to do pizza.
But it took a midlife career change to make that dream a reality.
I was in sales for 17 years, and I just got tired of it. I've always wanted to do something and follow my grandfather's path. So I basically took some family recipes, started working on them, redeveloped it into my own recipe, made hundreds of pizzas for my friends. I was bringing them to the bars, letting everybody try it, and they're all like, you got this down, you gotta open up a restaurant now.
And so in 2013, Brian opened Bartoli's Pizzeria, an homage to his grandfather in the Northside Roscoe Village neighborhood.
If my grandfather could see Bartoli's today, I think he'd be super proud of me. A lot of people come to Chicago, they want to try deep dish pizza, and they find us on the internet as being one of the highest rated deep dish pizzerias in Chicago. So they'll make special trips to come here. Most of them really like it, so that's, it keeps me going every day, and that's what I thrive on, is making people happy and letting them try what I think is one of the best pizzas in Chicago.